Just want to make a quick, video on, moving from not having boundaries into moving into setting very healthy boundaries and how hard it can be for a lot of people. So, for instance, if you grew up in a home where boundaries were unheard of, and if not to even venture further and say completely disrespectful, because anytime you asserted yourself into a conversation that was demeaning to you or really overstepping the respect that you deserve, it was seen as just completely disrespectful, especially from people who are older than you. And anytime you vocalized that you didn't like what was happening to you and you felt disrespected, you got in trouble. Now, think of how, on a long term, happening to you from a kid up until now, how much of an effect that would have had on you. So, yeah, like I said, if it has happened from when you're a kid till now, that's going to become obviously your norm, and that's going to become a part of your daily interaction. So it spills out into your relationships and your friendships. How it can spill out into your friendships is that you feel bad for not wanting to go somewhere, especially if you know going somewhere is going to step into that self-preservation that you need in order to fill up your own cup, and then you're going out people pleasing and making sure that people feel satisfied when you are not satisfied. That's not fair to you. That's just one way it can manifest. The way it can manifest in relationships is that you don't properly communicate what you knowingly deserve. And no, I'm so sorry for all the notifications, but yeah, you aren't able to communicate what you deserve. In fact, you probably feel very, very like it's just not a very comfortable conversation. And in fact, when you start realizing this, you might realize that your boundaries are weak in relationships, and then you try to go and fix them, but because you've already basically allowed for somebody to have a behavior towards you that is not acceptable, they think that it is acceptable because you've allowed for it for so long. And now if you put your hands up, and say, I'm done with this, I don't want to be disrespected anymore, they'll be offended. So that's just one way it can manifest in a relationship. And the advice to you is to understand that it's okay to let people go who aren't able to respect your newfound boundaries. It's okay to say, I know what, you're no longer fitting into the life that I want to create for myself, therefore you need to go. And it's going to be hard to do that at first. And I'm not saying that is the only option. Another option is actually communicating it straight up and in a respectful manner as well, because it's going to be new for both of you. And if somebody is used to not respecting your boundaries, it could be also be that they don't understand boundaries as well. So you can communicate and have a healthy conversation, explain and go into that. If someone is not willing to go into exploring what boundaries are and respecting, then they're probably not the person for you anyways and regardless. And they were probably a lesson to, because think about it, if someone has led you to realize that you don't have strong boundaries, then they're most likely a lesson if they're not willing to grow and transcend from that situation, right? So it's okay, like I said before, to have to let go of people who no longer respect and honor your boundaries. So so communicating, also taking time out for yourself, because that's going to tell you exactly where you are in terms of setting boundaries as well. If you're unable to function on yourself by yourself, there's obviously something, that needs to be fixed or aligned within yourself. So taking that time out and really reevaluating all of the relationships, your close relationships that you have with people, and kind of like studying it, how what times you felt disrespected and were you able to say anything about it, and just really analyzing it and not beating yourself down and saying, oh my god, like I've allowed this for so long. You're learning, and the beautiful thing is that you're aware too. You're aware that you are feeling and seeing things are not up to par with the divine being that you are. And that's okay, and that's very valid, and that's a very beautiful awareness to have, to be conscious that you deserve more. And so I say take a time out to, and that's why I like quarantine, because it's really showing you who is respecting boundaries and who's not. Because a lot of people want to use this as a selfish way to enter your life and be like, well, you have time now, but that who are you to assume that I have time, to assume that I'm going to be able to put up with your antics. So definitely use this time as a reflection of what kind of relationships you're honoring and what kind of relationships you're feeding into, because a lot of us are nourishing relationships that are unhealthy for us, putting our heart and soul into things and growing people when we don't have and don't owe any obligation to do that. It is a beautiful thing, and it's a very beautiful selfless thing to do. But if you're not being respected alongside your journey, what is the point of it, right? So I say this is a good checkup, if you've been feeling this, there's an inkling, or I don't even know if that's the word, but I'm going to use it because I feel like it's really describing what I'm saying. But just that gut feeling that maybe something is off, maybe something isn't as what it appears to be. And it is a beautiful thing to follow your intuition. Your intuition is never wrong. Even if it isn't manifested in the way that you thought it is, your intuition is still trying to lead you to some kind of realization or illumination from a dark place. So you took the first steps that are needed into creating more healthy boundaries for yourself, and creating more healthy relationships as well, because relationships are healthy and thriving when boundaries are set and respected. I feel like there's more that can be tapped into here, but I heard get truly happy. Get truly happy. That type of happiness where it radiates from you and you feel like life is just in alignment with you and your thoughts and everything that you want to do. So I urge to do a deep cleanse of your house. Sage it, cleanse it, whatever you need to do to get any kind of yucky energies out there. And then once you do that, start realizing who functions in a way in your life that honors that kind of cleansiness and that purity that you feel. The people that don't and cause mayhem and chaos are usually the people that you need to just really hone in on and see if they really are a reflection of the life that you want to live. I've noticed that countless times when I've done a deep cleanse in my home, like if I do like spring cleaning, that's why spring cleaning is such a beautiful thing. And I'll also get into something that I had a realization about, and it ties into this. But yeah, I've realized that the people who don't respect me and don't respect my boundaries usually trash my area or trash my energy. And it's not that I'm not taking accountability, because I've allowed that kind of energy in my life. But the people who do honor, you'll see them like, it's almost like they cleanse as they go. Erykah Badu, she talks about how when her friends are just chilling at her house, she'll clean off the stove or she'll clean off counters and surfaces. And those are the type of people that it's almost like it's just in their nature to make it easier for you to respect you, and uphold a standard. So that's beautiful. The next thing I'd say is that I noticed that every time I let somebody in my space who's not supposed to be there, it's usually a masculine energy, and they cause a lot of mayhem, they cause a lot of disruption, and it's like it really makes or break who comes into your space, who comes into where you set those boundaries and what that means for you. You need to know that when people come into your space, they bring an energy of their own as well. And if that energy is not aligned with who or what you stand for, you'll notice that surfaces, areas, and this is metaphorically speaking, just become a lot more muddied and clogged up. Spring cleaning and those transitional phases where you go through a period where you just go through purification are very important. And the flip side of it is that you've cleansed and now you're on the set path to set new intentions, new creations, and new energies are allowed to be flown in. When you don't honor those time periods, and I'm telling you right now, integrate them into your life. And I'm not saying it from a fear-based thing, I'm saying it because I care. But integrate it into your life, because when you don't do those things, you allow for patterns, people, places, things, and opportunities that are not there for you to just cling onto your space. And you'll notice yourself having thoughts that are just like they're on like a conveyor belt or like a elliptical kind of motion, and it keeps on going and going, and you have not allowed new energy to flow in. You've not set an intention and set out the energy into the universe that your space is now, your space, mind, body, and spirit is now open and receptive to allowing new opportunities in that are a reflection of the path that you want to go down to. So I say integrate that and incorporate into your life now, and you'll see a very drastic change. So I just wanted to say thank you again and I'm grateful for the people who want to take those next steps. They felt that this message was for them intuitively. And yeah, so I just want to express my gratitude and wish you well.